Black women in Alabama.
Let us have this discussion.
I love you, Booze. I love you.
You are the one.
So number one,
I love Black women in Alabama.
Number one, y'all saved yourselves.
Yes, you did.
Okay.
Self-preservation, babies.
Okay. And this is not out of the ordinary in terms of what Black women do as voters.
Nope.
I said this earlier, that people use this phrase that, one of the things they say is that we're voting Black people in, we're just voting for Black folks. But if that was the case, we would have supported Herman Cain and
which we did not.
A brain surgeon.
We did not.
Okay. So we know, because we have our full agency, we're intelligent, and we know how to be citizens and voters. We know how to evaluate the candidates that are put before us, look at our issues and compare them to the background and the issues from the candidates that are presented to us, and make informed decisions that benefit us.
Right.
And so what Black women in Alabama said is, these are my issues. These are the candidates, and here is who I think the best candidate is to represent my interests in the Senate.
Right.
And they chose Doug Jones.
Right. So what they were not just doing is protecting themselves from a pedophile. They were protecting themselves from a racist, someone who has been kicked off the federal bench several times because of his inability to apply the law. They knew that he was going to have the power of the purse, the power of the pen. And they said, no, we draw the line at someone who is this blatant, this explicit, and this unworthy of the position. And they did it well, the way Black women are known to do things.
True.
A rising tide lifts all boats.
It
and once
does.
again, we've proven it, and no one can still financially back. I have a question.
Okay.
Is the Democratic Party allergic to actually speaking directly to Black women, or must it always go through the media of some sort? I'm looking at you, Mr. Man.
Okay. So I will say that they did,
Tweet at us.
Okay.
Hey, Black women, we love you.
Because I believe some
It's
Black women
litty
wrote
lit.
a-
Hold on,
at
let me get a
least wrote
meme.
letter.
Because
They-
God knows
listen.
I can't actually talk to you directly and support you and give you money and not do anything besides come and show up at 5 minutes before when we know we in trouble. Talk about, yo, if we give y'all a quick barbecue, will you support us? Stop it.
Well, it
What she
remains to
said.
be seen. Because June, you're right. Larry, you're right. I don't want to take Black women's agency from them, and I particularly don't want to take the agency away from Black women in Alabama who not only showed up and vote, but they were organized in their own communities before anybody else had a focus and attention on Alabama.
And that includes funding it. They were funding it the way Black women know how to get things done. So they were.
So shout out to y'all who were actually on the ground
That's
and
right.
talking to
Y'all the
your
real
neighbors
MVPs.
and your family members about that before any national attention was on, the child predator that was there. Y'all were doing what needed to be done in order to have somebody who represented you in the Senate who could champion your issues.
That's right.
The second point of this conversation is I'm waiting for the moment when people will stop inviting us to help them move and not invite us to the house party.
Ooh. I
don't want to go
analogy.
to either one. You can come to my house. How about I start to run things? How about you? You know what? You bring a plate. What do you
come
bring
to
the wine?
mine.
You come to my crib. I'm not here to help and uplift you, but I love my social media and my hot takes. And I watched it all. And you know what I watched? I watched the lawyer and Eljoy sit there and they got very upset. And they don't quite exactly drag people. But what happened to those people? That wasn't dragging. So understand you've got talked to because you was wrong. Do not erase Black women.
That's right.
We quietly get the job done. We show up when nobody else is there. We fry the chicken and make the macaroni and cheese.
And it
we
tastes
count
better
the
than
heads. Make sure
yours.
that when you get on the bus, we leave with the same amount of people we came back with. We do all of these things. Meanwhile, the people who are at the top in charge of the purse strings, who actually want to sit around and dictate how all this go, they're not doing that. They get their list and they knock on the list door. They don't even knock on the extra door to say, hey, oh, you might be a Black person. Hi, let me say hi to you. There's none of that. And we do it for ourselves. And then when it happens, everybody's shocked They're just
Well, the reason why I continue to talk about this is so, and the party is, trying to do their best in communicating what they are doing. So, I got information and said that they, invested $1 million in Alabama. They also invested some money in, Virginia. They hired Black people, in Alabama.
At what point?
And how much did that million? What was the amount?
Was it
was
it done in a timely fashion?
Because I
understand
talking points. Y'all.
I'm sorry. No, I understand talking points, and I also understand timelines. Where was the timeline? When did that money come? Did it come 5 minutes before y'all thought y'all was going to lose to a degenerate? I'm just saying.
But those are good questions. Because
see, and people think people be like coming at me like I'm extra. I was like, y'all, I'm the reasonable one.
I'm extra.
Right. June hit it right on the head.
Because I don't even understand what is happening. And the bottom line is, don't just listen, quote unquote, to Black women. What you need to do is fund the initiatives. And no, we're not just running off just because you Black and doing it. Fund the initiatives because we're doing the work that you obviously are not. We're tired. We're not carrying water. You're just taking advantage of the wave. Understand your position. Help us build this boat.
And that's going to be especially true coming up. Well, no, but that's especially true coming up. We have 2018 elections coming up. We have census that is going to need money.
2020 is
we have
off
2020.
The chain.
It takes money to get out to those hard to reach communities. It takes money to be able to funnel resources.
But right now, everybody got to do a GoFundMe for their health care because make America great again, and China don't take our trash.
There you go. So yeah, Eljoy, you are not off the mark here. Not at all.
Listen, I'm just trying to provide the context, and because people, have said to me recently, right, that the party and others, because this is not just on the Democratic Party. Well, they're saying how much they spend and they're investing. Or what else do you want them to do? And I keep saying more.
Yes.
Right. So it's not enough. And so for those of you who think that, oh, you're being ungrateful, they're trying, they're giving money, they're hiring people and things like that. No, right. Do more.
Yes.
Do
better.
What you do for white communities. When you want to get them out, do what you're going to do for them. Don't give us 0.5% of the funding and then talk about how you got 95.5% of the funding elsewhere.
Oh, no, because you can just do magic with 0.5. Why would I give you 10?
We've always done magic with 0.5. They may not speak on it, but they've watched it. So instead of giving us proper budgets, and they know that we're magic, nobody can deny that, because we take 5 cents and all of a sudden we've got like a Thanksgiving meal for 25 people.
Right.
They know this. So we always get lowballed. Guess what? In the next go around 2018, if you're not coming, there could possibly be a Black woman revolt, because there are more than enough of us to actually start another party, not be an interloper from another party and try and tell you how to do things. Yeah, brother, I'm looking at you, brother.
Oh my gracious.
Right. So, and this is not, we're having a conversation about Black women's political power. And it's not just, the other thing that bothers me is that it's not just because of Barack Obama.
No.
Now, we love Barack Obama. And again, it wasn't just Black for Black's sake. Right, because this here was a candidate that did come and presented before us, who had a background, who had issues, who went out and spoke to communities and had a strategy to actually win. Then he had to actually also win over us, right, and in court us in order to win. But Black women have registered and voted at higher rates than our male counterparts in every election since 1998.
Wow,
and we do that more than any other race and gender and subgroups in terms of turnout in 2008 and 2012. So yes, everybody performed higher, but we consistently perform higher since 1998. Thank you very much. Right? And we're the most reliable voters. Yeah. Right. And so as I continue to say, the return on investment in investing in Black women, investing in Black and Latino voters, and investing in making sure we have full voting rights, and investing in making sure that our issues aren't put to the side because they're too controversial, and wait for us to pass this tax bill and then we'll get around to voting rights, and wait for us to do this and then we'll get around to police accountability. Maybe if the opportunity is right and we don't get, hit by, PBA and the NRA, maybe, right? No more maybe. Yeah. Right? Be out, as my grandmother would say, be out in the daylight with me. Right? If you need my votes and you need my support to actually win and get your candidates, to the particular positions, then which is what I said, even with, Doug Jones winner, because remember, he's also a conservative Democrat.
Right.
From and could be representing those it's Alabama. And some of those black women that voted for him are probably conservative Democrats at that. Right. But are they going to champion the issues that those women, that those voters care about? And not just when the time is right, not just I can compromise on your reproductive choice if this will get us a tax bill or health and or things like that. Don't compromise our values, because the values and the issues that we are focusing on are essential to our life. It is essential to the democracy that I have an unfettered right to vote. It is essential to a democracy that I should not have any fear of police officers in my community, and that if I have to have an encounter, or my child has to have an encounter with a law enforcement, and it does unfortunately result in death or harm, that there's going to be some accountability. That affects my daily life. It affects my daily life, that our rates of cancer and that our rates of access to health insurance, our rates of access to clean water, it affects my daily life. So when you're talking about, these black issues that we can't champion, that we need to put on the side, these are not just issues. These are not just what they call cultural issues that should be discussed in a salon or in a bar. These are issues that affect our daily lives, and without it, we can't be full participants in this democracy.
That's why I'm excited to see this next phase. Now that we're putting people in office, I'm looking forward to black women in particular flexing our muscle and saying, no, we're not going to have a city council meeting that doesn't incorporate these issues, and we will shut you down if you try. And no, we are not going to allow the police union to negotiate these types of policies that are going to protect them from any accountability, and we will shut you down if you try. No, Democratic Party, you're not going to come in at 12:58 or 11:58 and we got to get till midnight in order to provide funding. You will be banned from coming back, and I'm looking forward to the accountability portion, because I don't think anyone can hold you accountable the way a black woman can hold you accountable. And now that we are flexing that muscle in the voting booth, I'm looking forward to the increased civic engagement and the activism taking place in the salons, and going from the salons to the city council to the community board, and really infiltrating all of these conversations with our needs centered at the discussion. It's time.
Oh, definitely. And unfortunately, we're getting ready to enter a situation where so many things are going to come at you fast, especially if you aren't on the upper end of the middle, or someplace where you're comfortable enough to say, maybe take action, like in certain ways. What you need to do is figure out which group holds your same values and help them out, so that they can be your mouthpiece while you're at work, getting your kids, doing all these things, because the next 3 years of our lives is going to be no excuses time. So you voted, we voted, we elected, we put you someplace. Best believe we're going to see that you do what we need you to do while you're there. The primary is always right around the corner. So I think we can stop looking at everything like a death knell, but we have to remember we still have a job after we hit that election.
That's right.
And if I can't do it because I'm bogged down, and no one is saying that you can go to every community board meeting or every whatever, or you're going to be like those people getting carted off by the police at the senator's office every other day. We're not saying that, but say you like that organization that's doing that because those are your values. You got extra $5, throw it at them. You got time to stuff an envelope, go do it. So please, let's get it done. We got 2-3 years.